What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again from Locked On Wizards. Today, we are going to do an Atlanta Hawks preview for tomorrow night's game, the second game, mind you, against Atlanta Hawks at home in DC. Then we're going to talk about recent comments by Kyle Kuzma about what's going on with the franchise. Then we're going to end with us chopping about it at the end. I want to know what you guys' thoughts about his comments and about the game tomorrow. So next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, it's your boy Brandon Scott again from Locked On Wizards. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On today to get started. So we're going to make it short and sweet tonight. I definitely appreciate everybody showing up tonight. We are going to do a brief preview for tomorrow night's game against Atlanta Hawks. What my three keys of victory are. Then we're going to talk about recent comments by Kyle Kuzma. And at the end, we're going to talk about it. So let's slide right into it. So as you know, tomorrow night we play our second of our two-game series, which is kind of weird with the NBA now, but two-game series against the Atlanta Hawks. Now, as you know, we lost by 2 previously, but, it's not much of a change looking at this roster. Obviously, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella is roughly the same starting 5. So real quick, what are my keys to victory tomorrow night to try to get back in the win column? All right, number 1, let the offense flow through Kyle Kuzma or Kristaps Porzingis. No more Bradley Beal bringing the ball up. He has shown that he tends to be turnover prone, and especially in clutch time. We don't need that. Look, Bradley Beal is best served when he is in being that scorer. Going on the perimeter, scoring, driving the lane, but he has no business bringing the ball up. I think that Atlanta knows that. I mean, they saw his turnovers the last time they played us. So I want to see the offense run through Kyle Kuzma or Kristaps Porzingis. All right, key to victory number 2. We need to battle for control of the paint. Clint Capella, Okonkwo, John Collins, the list goes on. They have rebounders, man. Daniel Gafford and KP, they need to battle it out in the paint, and we have to control the paint. We got to stem offensive rebounds by Atlanta, which usually, as we know all year, the same issues with offensive rebounding. It often leads to second chance points and extends possessions. And, we're going to flow into my third key to victory, but open 3-point shooters, which number 3, perimeter defense. I'm really going to say perimeter defense / transition defense, because very often than not, we struggle in transition. And usually when we are caught sleeping on transition, it always leads to open shooters. So definitely we have to get better defending in transition, communicate on the defensive end, and really identifying shooters, man, and really put some pressure on the perimeter. So my 3 keys to victory real quick. Again, number 1, I want to see the offense run through KP and or Kyle Kuzma. 2, we have to try to win the paint and the battle of the rebounds. And 3, we have to do better with transition defense and perimeter defense. So those are my 3 keys to victory. Like I said, it's gonna be real quick tonight, y'all, because rolling solo, is not much to talk about. Again, this is the second game of a 2-game series. So I believe that if we show up those 3 areas, man, look, we struggled with turnovers last game, and really you could throw turnovers into keys of victory, but I mean, that's been an issue all year round. But this is a winnable game. This is a must-win game. We get this win, we get a little bit of momentum going into our matchup versus the Philadelphia 76ers. So, again, this is a big, much-win victory or much-win game for this team. So, again, those are my 3 keys of victory. So, before we get into man-on-man, recent comments by Kyle Kuzma. Oh, real quick, what is my prediction and score? Well, I think they will adjust. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I have the Wizards winning 110-104. It's going to be high scoring. It's going to come down to minimizing turnovers and working on those 3 keys of victory. So before we move on to recent comments by Kyle Kuzma and talking about it, Tonight's episode is brought to you by Better Help. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening your self awareness and understanding because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self discovery. Look, I'm a big proponent of talking to somebody. Like I said, I'm a military vet, so I've had my fair share of issues. So definitely, look, take pride out of it. Definitely is no shame in talking to somebody. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. So, if you don't know, Kyle Kuzma made some comments, and we're gonna talk about it real quick. Uh, this is from Hoop District, man. It says Kyle Kuzma on the trio of himself, Kristaps Porzingis, and Bradley Beal after 30 games playing together. "Quote unquote, I don't know necessarily if it's the big three. None of us are stars. We can fill up points, but are we defending enough? Are we helping others get better?" Wow. I mean, choice words from somebody who, look, this franchise hopes to re-sign him and bring him back. But it says a lot about what his mind is about potentially staying in DC. Now, on one hand, Kyle Kuzma said that he likes DC. This team has given him an opportunity to really showcase his skill set. He's shown a lot of growth in DC, but again, this is his time to get a bag, man. Does he want to stay here long term? I think those comments say a lot. Let's look into it. I don't necessarily think we're big three. None of us all stars. He's on point. Nobody made an all star team. Now, I will say this: Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis both were deserving of all star berths. So I do think that those two guys should have been all stars. But Bradley Beal, obviously he had his injury issues and was not even talking about the turnovers. Lord have mercy. But he has a point. As you guys know, me and E call him the solid three. Due to all star berths. Kyle Kuzma's got a ring, but just we don't feel they're good enough right now to be called a big three. And you know, his comments kind of solidify what they think about themselves. Looking at this other quote, we can fill up points, but are we defending enough? Are we making others better? Look, call it like it is. This is not a good defensive team. They're not good defensively. If you look at it, we struggle in defending the paint. We struggle defending the perimeter. We struggle in transition. We're not a good defensive team. And the fact that Wes Unseld Jr. is a defensive-minded coach, and his MO coming over from the Denver Nuggets is defense is just astounding to me. So he's right on. The fact that he recognizes this, it says a lot. There's also other comments that he's made that, plays are not being run for him or Kristaps Porzingis. And, Bradley Beal is the priority as far as getting the ball in the fourth quarter. That is it, to a certain degree, it's shown a little bit of tension. And with Kyle Kuzma going into a contract year with him, with him having the ability to, you know, either accept or decline his player option, obviously he's going to decline it and try to get paid. But to me, this says that it's not necessarily a given that he's going to stay in DC. Because if you look at, let's be real, y'all. If you look at the star treatment that Bradley Beal's given, him having a voice in the front office with potential moves, look at, i.e. Spencer Dinwiddie, a lot of his antics, his attitude about getting paid, it's just the lack of leadership. Kuzma really came in and became that leader. It's just, you see treatment for Bradley Beal that you don't, it's just, what all right, what is Bradley Beal? He's a scorer, right? He's a really good scorer. He's evolved his game from his days playing in the same backcourt with John Wall, but what is he not? He's not a top tier all-star. He's not a top tier player. If you look at the list of players who have no trade clauses, Stephen Curry doesn't have one. It's a very short list, man, of people that have no trade clauses. They really wrote out everything to get him to sign the Supermax. And even with the trade kicker, the list goes on. This franchise has been kind of just, really overly loyal to Bradley Beal. And even with him making comments, about whether I want to be here, I don't want to be here. It's just it's rubbing people the wrong way. This is year two of locker room issues because you look at it. Look, I know a lot of y'all aren't big fans of Spencer Dinwiddie, but what was a lot of his comments on the way out? You know, People trying to get paid, people not serious, and lack of leadership. He wasn't necessarily wrong. And now the fact that Kyle Kuzma is saying something about this tells me it's not a given he's coming back. It's not a given. He's going to get paid, and if we don't pay him, somebody will. But it shows the lack of direction for this franchise. The lack of direction is just I just I will say this. I'll admit that this core of Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, and Bradley Beal they're fun to watch, but are they the best recipe to win a championship? No. So looking, kind of rolling back to his comments, he's not sure. It's not a given. It's 50-50 whether he stays or not. Just going off the comments. There's a little bit of friction there because, again, this is year two of people having an issue with the way that the leniency and the rope that is given to Bradley Beal with this franchise. And I get it. Supermax, they're making him the face of the franchise, especially with John Wall with his exit. I get it, but it's the amount of loyalty by this franchise towards Bradley Beal and trying to force him to be a franchise guy, and he's not necessarily has the skill set to be that. It's astounding to me. And again, it's rubbing people the wrong way. Now, Kristaps Porzingis, look, he is obviously a high character guy. He hasn't said much. And I'm not saying that Kyle Kuzma is not high character because he came out and said something. He's one of those guys who they're very vocal. And like I said, looking at the comments, man, people aren't exactly happy in the locker room with Wes Unseld. A lot of his game plans go towards Bradley Beal. How do I compare this? I don't know how many of you guys watched the Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, where it talked about um man, trying to think of the head coach that came before Phil Jackson. If you know, man, enlighten me. He coached the Wizards. Man. Anyways, before Phil Jackson coached the Bulls, man, a lot of the system that was ran. Oh, Doug Collins. Thank you. So Doug Collins ran a system that exclusively was for Michael Jordan. He was getting scoring titles, MVPs, but when Phil Jackson came along, his system was about everybody's, which is supposed to be the philosophy for this team. But this system is designed for Bradley Beal, obviously, because he's a franchise guy. They're trying to put him out there to be that guy. But again, it's rubbing people the wrong way. So again, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but it's just, to me, the comments just resonate what we all know, which is this is a franchise with no clear direction, where they're just playing by ear. They're just it's designed for the present. It's just not designed for long-term success. And what is long-term success? Winning the championship. They've made it known that they want to play in and first round exit, and they're cool with that. And yeah, it's one thing to have that opinion as a fan base, but then when a player comes out and says these comments, man, it resonates a lot. So you guys definitely let me know. We're going to slide in the comments, but before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scores and threes drain. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Man, I'm a huge fan of same-game parlay. I actually, man, I felt like I was getting a little lucky yesterday, and I actually did 6 parlays, and I didn't hit on none of them. But look, you win some, you lose some, right? So don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. So let's slide in the comments. And again, I want to know what you guys think about the comments. Bradley Beal, just let's chop it up real quick. All right. So let's get right into comments. And Chimp, the inaugural comment, need to win this Hawks game. Absolutely. This is must win. We have to win this game, man. We have to beat Atlanta. Especially, look, who we got next? Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a contender, man. James Harden starting to play at an all-star level, and B's doing his thing. If we want any kind of chance, we need momentum. How do you get momentum? Beat the Atlanta Hawks. So absolutely. Appreciate you, champ. Let's see. XD Zathiophone. Oh man, I chopped that up. My bad. We're cooked. We might get replaced with a Sonics at the. Oh man, I don't know if we're gonna get replaced with a Sonic, but I would like to see a team back in Seattle. But it's just inconsistency, man. Would not be surprised if they sold the franchise. Well, I'm not gonna ramble, but I'm gonna get on Ted Leonsis real quick. He was rumored to be in the running to buy the Nationals, so he's trying to expand. Which for a guy who refuses to rebuild, he's gonna have to rebuild the Nationals. So again, I know the learners have kind of stepped back from selling the team, but would it be sold? I don't think so. I think Leonsis is gonna hold it for a while till he gets that deal that is too good to pass up. But and even if they sell, I think there's a lot of local guys, investors that we're not going to go anywhere, especially not Seattle. But I would love to see the Sonics back, man. Alfonso Rodriguez, 100% agree. Wizards need to get it together. It's not a talent thing, man. It's it's consistency. What is the difference between contenders and lottery teams? Consistency. Contenders are consistent. They find that recipe for success, but they don't hold on to it. They evolve. They evolve. And, if you look at West, man, he likes to stick with his rotations. He does. He has a lack of adjustments, and it kills him every time. You got to learn how to adjust, man. You need to learn how to coach on the go. Look at certain matchups, man, and go from there. That's great coaching. If you look at certain teams that are around the 8th to the 10th spot to the 6th seed, like Toronto, Nick Nurse does that. Look at a lot of these coaching, man. If you look at Atlanta, man, Quinn coming in there, I think that's a good move for Atlanta. He's a good coach. He did well in Utah, man, and it's just crazy that they let him go in Utah. But you know, the lack of adjustments and consistency. We have the same issues all year. What are the issues? Turnovers. Turnovers are an issue. We cannot defend transition. We cannot defend the perimeter. We cannot defend the paint. We're sloppy. You would think that Wes and his coaching staff will make adjustments, but they're not. If you know what the issue is, it's bonkers that they're not fixing these issues. So, let's get to Alfonso right back at you, man. Rodriguez, what Kuz saying? Kuz is pretty much saying that it's not a big three for several reasons. They're not all stars, which again, I feel like him and KP should have been, but this is the Bradley Beal show, and this is how it's been. Especially last year. Like I said, I didn't like how Spencer did when he left, but his comments resonate a little bit now, right? This is the Bradley Beal show. They're going to force it upon us that he's going to be the franchise guy, man. And we know what he can do. He can score. He's still a really good scorer in his league, man. With coming back from injury, he can score. I'm not taking away from Brad, man. He is exciting to watch him be that scorer, man. Even though his 3-point shot is not what it used to be. He's more of a mid-range guy, like DeRozan, and that's cool, because his mid-range game is on point. But bringing the ball up, how many times do you need to dribble the ball off your leg, man, to your figure out that maybe I don't need to bring the ball up? It's just the lack of adjustments. So, he's saying that, him and KP are just on for the ride. There's no plays being run. In crunch time, the consideration goes to Bill. I mean, look at that one game. Oh man, what was the game? I'm trying to think. They went to overtime, but Bradley Bill dribbles the ball for 15 to 18 seconds and then drives. Everybody knew what you're going to do. There's no plays being run. It's bonkers, man. So that's really what he's saying is that, if you want to retain his services, you've got to make him involved. If you look at early this season when the offense flowed through him and KP, they were involved and his offense was more fluid. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy to me, man. Back at you, Chimp. Kuz wants to be in Cali. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you look at some of his comments, and I don't know, maybe it's for, him showing people that, he's a high character guy. There has been comments, that says that he likes DC. DC gave an opportunity to kind of showcase who he is. So I do. A part of me does think that he does like DC. Is he likes the lights of LA. He's into fashion, but sometimes, man, the bright lights, it ain't always green on the other side, man. Sometimes, being in a smaller market like DC, where it's not like New York or LA, where it's a media hub where they're in your business every 5 minutes. It's more of a slower paced city. I think that he kind of likes that, but I would not be surprised if he goes back to LA, whether it's the Clips, Lakers, because like I said, he's into a lot more things off the court, so I can see that. Chimp, right back at you, brother. We got a defensive coach that can't play defense. It's a combination of different things, man. He is not. All right, we'll start from a coaching standpoint, right? He's not vocal enough to really be a defensive coach. Look at Thibodeau, man. He's a defensive minded coach. Look, he has no problem letting people know what he feels. You cannot be stoic up there looking like Marcus Aurelius, not saying nothing, and then and be ferocious on defense. Man, defense is a frame of mind. It's not just, oh man, this system. No, it's a frame of mind, man. Look at players like Pat Bev, man. I know a lot of people don't like Patrick Beverly, but his intensity, his mind frame. Look at DeLon Wright. It's a mind frame. You got to have a certain mind frame to play really aggressive defense. And when you got a coach that's very monotone, doesn't say too much, it's just I don't think these guys respect him. Be honest with you. I don't think he gets much respect in the locker room. And that's why I think that if we're serious about really building around his core, we need to get a veteran coach in here, man. I think that year 2, you're still not adjusting, you're still not vocal. Going into the offseason, going into year 3, we really need to evaluate the head coach position. Let's see, man. Let's get it. Back at you, Fonzo, man. 100% agree with Kuz. Yep, I'm with you. I agree with Kuz, man. Chimp, back at you. We are the worst team in the NBA. We have no plans, no real goals apart from to exist. The worst team, no, but we're not middle tier, man. Because what you said, you're right on, Chimp. The lack of a long-term vision makes us the bottom tier because we're not trying to build this franchise for any success into the future. We're trying to do immediate success. And then the whole immediate goal for this franchise is to make the plan. Like, who does that? Like, your goal should be championship. The fact that your goal is to make the plan is a loser mentality, man. Your goal is to win a championship. So why would you even play? I mean, it's bonkers to me that they're happy with playing or getting to the first round and getting his playoff money. Why can't we get treated like the Capitals, man? Can we get the Capital treatment here? I mean, look, Capitals got a Stanley Cup. Nationals 2019 got a World Series. The Mystics have a championship. This franchise has not won a championship since 1978. Let that resonate. That's 70s. I'm at 85, baby, man. I wasn't even around. I mean, I wasn't even a dream yet. I mean, it's just I don't understand. I don't understand the vision. I'm with you, man. The Marcy, man. Real quick, man. I'm gonna get right back into it for you, man. Real quick, for you guys to miss real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and read Kyle Kuzma's quote again. All right, so this is from Hoop District. Follow him on Twitter. Kyle Kuzma said on the trio of himself, Kristaps Porzingis, and Bradley Beal after 30 games playing together, quote unquote, I don't know necessarily if it's a big three. None of us are all-stars. We can fill up points, but are we defending enough? Are we helping make others better? So, I mean, let's look at it, man. I mean, are they all-stars? Like I said, I think him and KP should have been, but they're not. If you look at the fact that, yeah, they can score at a high level. They can score 79 to 90 points as a collective core, the three of them. But the defense is abysmal. The defense is terrible. And are they making anybody better? No, they're not. They're just, if you look at this solid three together, they take up 85% of the shots. So his comments are right on. His comments are right on. And the fact that it's coming from a guy that we hope to stay is already telling you that this is Brad's show, man. And it's tough to really bring anybody in here because you know that he's running the show. And so if you want to pay him $20 to $25 million, you have to give him some responsibility. You got to give him, you got to give it to Kuz, man, because he's not going to show up here $25 million to be second fiddle to a guy that clearly should not be bringing the ball up. So, let's see. IBS FTW, he needs the ball. Yep. Chen Mayer, man, what's going on? How you doing tonight, man? West got to go at the end of the year. I think so, yeah. I mean, if he's not, I want to see some considerable growth from year 2 to 3, man. If we're in year 3, you still don't know how to do a rotation, you still don't know how to make adjustments at halftime, then you got to go. I want to see a veteran guy in here, man, a veteran head coach. I think if a big name shows up, man, you got to make a run at him, man, if you're serious about, building around his core. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. A part of me does want to see how he does with a rebuilding team. If he can kind of, but that's the thing. Tommy Shepard. Are you really going to depend on Tommy Shepard drafting for a rebuild? I mean, and that's part of the dysfunction. You can't. I mean, you cannot really give Wes Unseld the keys and say, "Here, find, coach him up." Find Tommy's going to find the guys for your system, coach him up because you can't exactly trust Tommy Shepard to find the pieces through the draft. We saw a player that we had an opportunity to draft last game against Atlanta, Jalen Johnson. And he is contributing immediately. There's still an APB out for Johnny Davis. And yeah, I get it, man. He is improving in the G League. And I'm still a believer, Johnny Davis. I think he's going to still be a decent player. But, you know, you have to, especially if you're drafting around 10 to 15, you got to find those diamonds in the rough. You got to find guys who can contribute right away, man. So, Mikey Mike, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? Bill's a good player, my favorite player. But his best season came when we had an aggressive point guard. Thank you, sir. Fourth quarter turnovers be messing the team up. Yeah, I agree. John Wall was great for Bradley Bill. It allowed him to be that scorer. You had a guard who can drive the lane, who can dish out, who can collapse the defense. Russell Westbrook did the same thing. He collapsed the defense, led to a lot of open shots. Without Russ, man, he does not average 30 plus that year. So I'm with you. In this offseason, we have to find a guard who's got a little bit of giddy up, who can go drive the lane, has some speed, who can collapse his defense and really utilize some shooters, man. Let's see. Man, I definitely appreciate y'all tonight, man. Back at you, champ. I agree. I've been saying West is not the guy. He needs to go. Yeah. If he doesn't go, he needs considerable growth, man, from year 2 to 3. But man. Let's see. Back at you, Alfonso. Let's see, I get the sense that you feel that the head coach needs to go, let go. Yeah, I mean, here's my thing. If we finally go into a rebuild, then yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see if West can coach up a young team to his system. Because I do believe, him coming in this situation as not being a head coach to a roster that has veterans and young guys is tough to really implement a system where half the team can't play defense. So but again, the trouble with that is, do you trust Tommy Shepard to draft a young team? I just don't. His draft record is meh at best. I mean, it's just so. Let's see, good comments tonight, man. Back at your IBS FTW, they call Denny 6-man, and he get in and doesn't touch the ball for all the. Look, I do believe this, man, and I know. Look, there is a little bit of friction with some of y'all, man, with Denny. For you guys, especially for one of our Israeli fans, very pro Denny, and I get it, man. National pride, definitely root for you guy. I get it. And he is a good young player. Does he has some ways to go? Yeah, he's not a finished product, but you also got your fans who are anti-Denny. Look, man, we need to here's the thing, man. In the Israeli league, he was a star. The NBA, man, your stars are like 10, 15 guys. And you have hundreds hundreds of guys who just are average guys, and Denny's there. He's not going to be that guy in the NBA, but I do believe he's good enough to where they need to give him some ball handling duty, man. Bring the ball up for the second unit, man. Or I don't care what they do. Just stop letting Bradley Bill do it. But I think Denny, you're going to see growth, man. His 3-point shots is a work in progress, man. But he is showing a lot more confidence driving the lane. And so I think he would be a good 6-man. But he's got to work on that shot, man. Let's see. Anthony McCormick. What's up, man? How you doing tonight? To be honest, Bill sucks, and I'm a big fan. I love Bradley Bill. I love him as a player. Look, he's my top 3 Wizards, man, is Gilbert Arenas, John Wall, and Bradley Bill. Easy, but he's not a top-tier guy, and he's not a guy who you can plug in to be the face of a franchise. He's a 2, number 3 guy, but like they say, it is what it is. This is the situation we're in. Big J 52, man, what's going on with you? Sup? Not feeling West. I don't like leaders that go by data and stats. Yeah, I'm with you, man. This with analytics and all this. I think there's a time and place for that. I'm not a person who thinks that we need to be 100% depending on analytics. I think it's a tool that you can use in scouting, but to be 100% on analytics, I think it's a little crazy. You gotta, still gotta trust old scouting. If you look at Moneyball with Major League Baseball with the Oakland A's, yeah, they were successful building regular season teams, but they never won a title. They never got past the wild card or the divisional series. So, analytics can only go so far. It's a tool, but it's not your only tool. You know what I'm saying? Couple more, y'all. And again, next week we are gonna do a couple of mailbag episodes, man. So I'm loving the comments, man. But we're gonna do one more comment. Let's see. Oh, Sheldon T talking about Dan Snyder. Lord have mercy. Let's see, two more comments. I see a couple good ones, man. Super Chef. We got a Hawks fan in here, y'all. I'm a Hawks fan, and you guys are underrated. Y'all just don't give up. We're just not consistent, man. We have giddy up when we wanted to. I mean, we can really put some effort forward when we want to. It's just consistency, man. So one more comment. I'm gonna roll with my man Sheldon T. What's going on, man? Now that Snyder is selling the Commanders, time to focus on Leonsis and his failure at the Wizards owner. Well, unlike Dan Snyder, there's no off the court controversy that's really pushing him. There's nothing really going to push him out of ownership of this team unless somebody gives him an offer that's too good to pass up. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see him selling. Like I said, he was in the running for buying the Nationals. So he was trying to expand. He's really trying to build up the monumental sports. So I don't see it happening anytime soon, man. But again, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. Tonight, I appreciate everybody, man. Definitely showing up, showing me some love. Was tomorrow night. It was definitely try to get this W against the Atlanta Hawks, man. This is a must win. We lose, man. We're gonna keep digging this hole, and we're not gonna be able to get to 500. And we gotta be consistent. So, again, appreciate y'all tonight, man. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now make your second listen game to game NBA, every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, y'all, we are very, 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 very close to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. So definitely like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and let you know when new episodes come out. Holla at me and my dude, the real Ed Oliver, on Instagram and Twitter. We chop it up on game days and off days alike. Definitely on my Instagram, man. I go to games year round. If it's not Major League Baseball, minor league, NFL, XFL, NBA. So I put a lot of pictures up, but definitely check us out, man. So again, I appreciate y'all, man. Try to show some support and get this dub, man. Must win game. So again, appreciate y'all, man. So y'all have a good night, man. I hope y'all have a blessed night and see y'all tomorrow. Peace.